Hello, I am Mrmanny620, and this is my game submission for Games Done Quick, Summer Games Done Quick 2018. The game I will be submitting is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Game Boy Advance, easy mode, easy difficulty. It's a game that's never been done at GDQ before, so I think it'd be nice to have, so let's get started. So this is a simple side-scroll beat-em-up. And basically, you have 4 acts in all the 4 turtles: Leo, Raph, Donatello, and Michelangelo. And we're going to start off with Leonardo. So, these Mousers, they basically just take 1 hit and they're dead. And, you know, we're just going to do basic combos here. Now, that little circle thing that you see me doing, that's or at least I was doing, that was a recoil attack. It's able to do some pretty hefty damage around a whole bunch of enemies, but it does damage you. However, since this is easy difficulty, we do not take that much damage, so it's actually very useful. Those enemies, basic enemies, they just take a full combo. So now we just gotta do some parkour. It's actually a lot harder than it looks, and we're gonna take the left side, because the left side is about 7 seconds faster. 5 to 7 seconds faster. So you also may have noticed that in that last room with the normal enemies, like Leo did a little bit of a dash attack. If you hold the attack button, there's a little bar underneath the health bar. If it reaches that last section, the red, you do a full charge attack. And full charge attacks will be used quite frequently in the run. So we're just going to head down here to the final set of screens to go rescue April. That takes a full combo, but that first enemy right there takes a full combo and then a recoil attack. So you want to finish that full combo, and before they hit the ground, you want to do a recoil attack. Now here, I kind of screw this up. That enemy kind of gets up and falls down. You want to keep enemies off the ground as long as possible because you can't hit them when they're on the ground. So make sure, you know, keeping them in combos until they're dead is very important. Now, here on this last screen, when we're taking out these Mousers, we're just using recoil attacks, and that's so that we can lower our health for the end right here. Every stage ends with your health bar draining, and the stage will not progress until your health completely drains. So we want to end each stage with as little health as possible if it is faster to do so. If not, we will just go as fast as possible. Okay. So this is now Leo Act 2. It is the first auto-scroller in the game. But there's an auto-scroller for each turtle. This is the second best auto-scroller in the game because at the end of the stage, there's an enemy. And by enemy, there's a wall. And we can actually speed up how fast the fight is. So we can actually go a little bit faster than some of the other ones. But right now, we're just going to kill some Mousers. And our charge bar at the top has been replaced with 3 bombs. We're going to save them and use our recoil attack button at the end to damage the wall faster. Also, because we have the end of the stage with the health drain, near the end of the stage, we're going to take damage here from these Mousers. However, there is a Mouser that drops a green health pack, and most of the time you'll get it anyway, just because your cursor's moving around, so I don't know. It's tough to say whether you really want to take damage for safety or not. So this wall actually has 3 hitboxes, so it's actually faster to kind of scroll around like this. It's very hard to keep your aim consistent on it, but if you can keep going around in this triangle formation, use all 3 bombs. See, there's that green health pack. You can kill it very fast. This was a slow wall when I did it, so that can. Hey, you see that time going down? Oh, that's my I'm losing time thing. That's my I'm losing time sound for my splits. So just ignore that when that comes up. Anyway, now we're on to Act 3, and you're going to see a lot of full charges in this stage. And a lot of full combos into recoil attacks, because there's a lot of those enemies too. So we're just going to come up here, defeat that enemy. It's very important that you understand when... Little movement tech there. It's important to understand that some enemies will... It'll be faster for you to wait for them to come to you. In other cases, you want to go to them, but in some cases, if they spawn, you want to wait for them to come to you because it'll actually be faster. You're supposed to do a full charge there. I don't know why I didn't there. Anyway, we are now entering the little second area of Leo Act 3. Just a little Mauser section. And this little section actually has a little bit more knowledge to it. When we get up onto that upper level, some Mausers will spawn, and then others will spawn after we defeat a certain number of Mausers. It kind of brings up the whole philosophy in this game that you don't want to wait for all the enemies to spawn and then take them out with one single combo, because you can't do that. Like, these three will spawn, and then once you kill the first two, then more will drop, and then you kill the third, and the fourth, and the more will drop. So you want to make sure that you want to keep enemies in your line of combo to reduce the number of combos you have to do, but you want to make sure you're always constantly killing enemies so that more enemies can spawn. So you have to find the nice healthy middle of where that is. Nice little full charge right there, taking out that whole bottom line. So you just saw there, when I'm in the middle of a dash and I attack from a dash, the enemy will automatically go onto the ground unless I hit it with a recoil attack, doing more damage. What you want to do, it's very important that when you dash, you stop dashing before you attack, so you just do a normal attack. It's huge timing to do that. So that's a big example right there of waiting for an enemy to come to you. He was on the bottom, he spawned on the bottom, and then he jumped back up to reach us. Hey, you see that time going down? Yeah, I lost a lot of time. So here we are on the boss for Leonardo. The Giant Mauser. What you want to do is you just want to do single air hits, and when he goes into windmill, you do your recoil windmill attack. It's actually very important that he does 3 windmills, and you're able to get 3 attacks on him before he does a windmill. So he did a little smash there, which was actually a little faster in that situation, but since he already took a little bit of time to do it, it was still slower. And when he goes into those jumps, you want to just do recoil attacks until he's dead. So as you can see, because we had such little health left when the act ended, the end of the act came faster. So here we are. We are now on Raphael. His Act 1 is probably one of the longest acts in the game. I think it actually is the longest act in the game. So what you saw there is we just did a recoil attack to finish off a normal single combo enemy, because it's, for some reason in this game, enemies don't spawn when their sprites show up. It takes a bit of a second for their sprite or for their actual enemy data to load with the sprite. So even though the sprite might be there, if it's their like getting up animation or entering animation, you won't be allowed to hit them until their data fully loads. So even though, another example right there, that dude, that green thug was still getting up, so I couldn't do a full combo on him when the first thug stood up before him. Which is why on the first screen, I had to do a recoil attack to finish off that other thug. So Raphael, you may notice his combos are a little different. He has 3 open hits and then a finisher. What the heck?
Acting so funny. What's wrong, Billy?
My doctor says I have Skittles pox.
Are they contagious?
I don't think so.
Contract the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Okay. So now, once again, you may notice that he has 3 open hits and then a full combo. His range is also shorter. So here we're going to do movement tech. You do a jump, a double jump. I only did a single jump there. You do a double jump, and then a recoil attack to give yourself all the way the momentum you need to get to the top of that building and climb it. So now we're going to see Raph's full charge attack. Just takes out a full bar of these enemies here, even though they usually take more than just a full combo. Those charge thugs can actually be very dangerous. They can kind of get in your way sometimes. What you want to do here is you want to land on the boxes and then jump as high as you can in order to reduce the climbing time. So these guys also take full charges, and then you just want to combo those guys on the left. But you'll see here, even on these two right here, I'll just do 4 hits in a full combo. Either way works. They're pretty much the same speed, since the time it takes to actually prepare the full charge attack can actually be a little longer than you want it to be. So here we go, that's Act 1 done. Now we move on to Act 2, which is Casey. And this fight is actually very specific, so you want to charge him, recoil attack to make both attacks whiff, full charge. Then you want to do the same thing. Then he's going to lose his hockey stick, so he doesn't want to do an attack. So that time you actually want to do the full charge right away, and then finish the same way you began the fight with the recoil and the full charge. Very specific. So that's Act 2, very fast. And now we're on to Raphael's auto-scroller, the motorcycle. And this is the best auto-scroller in the game, because it is actually timed, or at least you're under a clock, to beat Casey. So you actually have control over how fast you go. So you want to hit the boosters and go off the ramps and avoid every other obstacle. You can get the gas cans if you want, if you want to feel safe. But gas cans give you health, so you want to lose health at the end of the level. So you want to make sure you have the least amount of health you possibly can. Hey, you see that time going down? I got a 30:01 there. A good time is usually a 28, because I missed some of the boosters in the beginning. Now we're on to Raph's boss fight, Dragonface. However, he's not on screen right now because we need to get through 3 waves of enemies. That opening is consistent every time. And most of the time, like 90% of the time, this second phase is consistent. Casey's helping you in this fight, so you want to make sure that he doesn't you don't want him to screw you over. So those flippy thugs, even if you're hitting them, if they're flipping, they won't take damage, and they'll just dodge the attack. That's why they're probably one of the most annoying enemies in the game, because if they flip at the wrong time, you're pretty much screwed. So here we're going to do a full charge right away to knock them down. Take damage so we can lose a little bit of health. And we just want to keep them trapped in a combo. It's a lot safer than trying to do a full charge attack when you're just standing there. You just want to keep them locked in combos. And if Casey were helping you, you'd want to time your finishers to when he does a finisher so that you both do damage but knock him down at the same time. Because Casey, any hit... Hey, you see that time going down? Any hit that Casey does will immediately knock Dragonface down. So it would be very important that you time your finishers to Casey's hits for maximum damage. Now we're on to Donatello. He has the largest range of any turtle, but he can't double jump, so that little special jump technique with his bow staff is required. He can also do cool long-range gaps. Jump long-range gaps, yep. and that was his recoil attack that he used to break the boxes. Now I waited a small second for that charge thug to get in range of my bow staff before attacking the other guy, so they could die in the same combo. One of the things I find really neat about this game is that this poster has nothing to do with my username, and yet it's totally me, because I am Crazy Manny. Also, this is his full charge attack. It basically kills an enemy instantly, and pretty much it goes across the entire screen. So unless an enemy's like directly on the edge, most of the time you'll kill all enemies there. And that right there is a prime example of why the flippy thugs are the worst, because you just wouldn't take damage there. So there's 2 waves of enemies here. One full charge attack will take out the first, and a second full charge attack will take out the second wave. Hey, you see that time going down? Now we're on to his Act 2. And there's no enemies in the start here. In fact, there's a little bit of special movement here, so we want to go to the right first. Destroy these boxes, and then we just want to do jumps across. We actually want to be a little... when we jump on those platforms, we actually want to be a little bit away from the edge, because if you jump too close to the edge, you actually might jump over the next platform, causing you to hit the spikes. However, in this next room, we will want to hit the spikes at least once. So that time, we'll just dash right through. The health container is visible. Make it to this platform, hit the spikes, land, and then do another full charge to get over the boxes and reach the door. Now these lasers, every time you enter the room, you have to go through at least 1 cycle in order to get through. You cannot dodge that cycle. You will get hit every time. Now we have some enemies here. This is kind of a luck thing. Sometimes you'll hit all the enemies, sometimes you won't. Full charge. So this first laser is not skippable. That laser is not skippable, and then this one is. It's very, very precise to get past. A lot of my early runs have me failing there. So then another full charge attack, and then right away, as soon as you land, do another full charge attack, and hop on up through the door. Hey, you see that time going down? And that's the end of Act 2. So here we are, Act 3, the worst auto-scroller in the game. It is the longest auto-scroller, and for some reason they decided to make it the most boring as well, because it is very tough to die. However, I have learned a very important lesson in this auto-scroller, and that lesson is, do not check Discord while doing this auto-scroller, and that is for a couple of reasons. I checked Discord during a run that was very, very well ahead of my PB. I was on good pace. Because I checked Discord, I was not paying attention and thought, well, nothing really happens at the beginning, so I'll be fine. Except I died, losing a good PB pace. So that's a really funny story. This is also a good time to read a couple donations or donation incentives. It's one of those parts of the run where there really isn't anything new I need to explain. So why Turtles? Though, why this game? Well, this was probably one of my favorite childhood games. I was on my Game Boy, like, almost everywhere I went. It was either that or Link to the Past, but this game was, like, I just loved playing this game all the time. And I got into speedrunning, and then just one day I thought, you know what? It'd be really fun to speedrun this game from my childhood, so I literally got an emulator for this and started running it. Of course, at the event, I would run it on the GameCube adapter, the Game Boy adapter for the GameCube. But you know, it's really fun to play. It brings back so many memories, and it's really awesome. And the whole point of my run is to not say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are the best or this game is the best, because
why don't we get the old gang back together? Overkill. Tinfoil Kevin, Superior, and Dodge.
Tear's alive. He's coming after you. Let's go make some mayhem.
Take cover. I am so sorry, beloved wife and Mo.
The end of the world, and it's just a day's work.
So, why turtles? Once again, I'm sorry about the whole cuts, whatnot. But, it's not to say that this game is the best or Ninja Turtles are the best. But it's to say that this game, pick your favorite childhood game and just speedrun it. And though a lot of people, that's what they did already. They like chose, you know, Metroid, Mrmanny620, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time. It was their favorite childhood game. And, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. They were big games back then. But look at the obscure ones, because sometimes the obscure ones are the most fun to run. And they could be those breaks that you need between your big speedrunning endeavors in the other games. Because this is what I do when I'm not speedrunning Kingdom Hearts. It's a nice little change of pace. So in that last little section, I took a damage to speed up this health drain at the end. Of course, I will be safer at the event and not do it, because if I die, it's a whole nother 3 minutes. But otherwise, that is that. So now we're on to his boss fight. We have the Ninjas of Invisibility. And in order to make them actually visible and able to take damage, you have to turn on these 3 generators at the top. And then you just want to do a combination of full charge and recoil attacks to make sure you one-cycle them. If you don't one-cycle them, depending on their damage, you could lose anywhere from 14 seconds to 40 seconds. So it is very important that you get the one cycle on them. And as you saw there, full charge attacks, if you can get 2 or 3 hits on them, very easy to kill them. And if you just keep them locked in a corner like that, hey, you see that time going down? Keeping them locked in a corner like that, it'll be very easy to get one cycle. And with that, we're on to the last 4 stages, last turtle, Michelangelo. And the thing about Mikey is that he's the worst turtle in the game for several reasons. 1, he has the shortest range of any turtle. 2, he does the most hits in his combo, making his combos slower than other turtles. And I don't think I do it at all because I was able to avoid doing it. But if you do a dash and turn around, he will do this weird sort of flip animation, and it kind of gets in the way. It takes up a lot of time. It's very slow. You want to avoid doing it. So he's hard to control. He doesn't hit enemies easily. So it can be a little bit of a tough turtle to get used to, but luckily he has some. Luckily his stages are pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing too crazy about them. Now in this stage you'll notice that I'm doing single hits on enemies for certain reasons. Well, that's to kind of reset them, to stop them from wanting to do damage to me, while the other enemy is coming up so that I can just do a full combo on 2 enemies at once. So right there I did another single hit. And this is another example of having enemies come to you, because they'll just automatically drop down. And I accidentally did a finisher there, knocking that enemy away. That's okay. This game, because of its simplicity, it's not very difficult to lose a run. Or, not lose a run. Some major mistakes can lose a run, but it's a very safe game. For easy mode itself, it's very hard to die, and if you do die, well, that's kind of upsetting, but most of the time, it's pretty generous with respawn points and whatnot. And at the event, I will be a lot safer with damage boosting and whatnot. So those enemies on the pillars with the guns a little bit ago, they're not that dangerous on their own. As long as you're hitting them before they shoot, they're not really that lethal, and they take a pretty long time to shoot. So here in this last screen, I'm kind of finishing off enemies, but they're not dead. there's so many enemies on this screen that as long as you can trap them with another enemy in a combo, it's not any slower to just knock them away. So now we're on to Mikey Act 2, his auto-scroller. And his auto-scroller is pretty simple. There are 100 crystals. You need 70 to win before you get to the end. And avoid the pipes. And once we get 70 crystals, or I think I get 68 because I miss a couple. But it's very easy to get 100. Or it's very easy to reach 70. Once I get to a certain point, I'll just start taking damage to damage boost my way through the end screen. This is also a really fun stage. It's probably my favorite auto-scroller, just for the animation that Mikey has when he comes down from that right there, when he comes down from the top. I remember as a kid I used to go back and forth just having fun with that. And the animation just, like, it's a 2D game, but the animation that right there just looks like you're going through 3D, and it was like, it just, I don't think it blew my mind as a kid, but it was definitely like, this is awesome. Like, it felt like I was actually skateboarding down the sewers. Or Mikey was skateboarding down the sewers. It was really fun. So here we are, damage boosting. I actually take a lot more damage than I would want to in this case. I think I end up one hit away from actually death. So I like play ultra safe here. But because the game's on easy mode, it's actually very easy to play safe right there. Like, just kind of avoiding all the pipes at the end. And I already had 70 crystals, so I could kind of play it safe there. Anyway. Here we are, Act 3. And Act 3 introduces us to monster enemies. And these pillars, there's some cool movement you can do with them. So the goal combo you want to do on them is a charge hit. Because they don't knock down, you actually want to do a dash hit on them. So a dash hit into a full combo. You actually want to break those boxes there for a health pack, but I was good on health, so I went over, second-guessed myself. Anyway, a dash attack into a full combo, followed by a single hit into a recoil attack. And that'll kill them. If you don't do a charge, if you don't end up doing a dash attack, if your dash attack ends up missing because they're still on the edge of the screen, do a full combo, followed by 2 or 3 hits. 2 to 3 hits and a recoil attack, and that will kill. So the lava's used here for some damage boosting. But if you're good enough, you can kind of just double jump and recoil, aerial recoil attack to keep moving your momentum through. This stage is very hard to do efficiently because all the lava and the fireballs just try to keep knocking you back. And the enemies, they spawn at different sides of the screen, so you want to make sure that when you're turning around to go kill that second enemy on each wave, you're not doing the little flip, which can slow you down a little bit. So here we are. This is the only use of his full charge attack. We will see. So these first 3 monsters, followed by ninjas each time. Doing the same combo we did on them in the last stage. And these ninjas have swords. So what you want to do is you want to time your hits for when he slashes. But I accidentally messed up and then used a recoil attack to get up from the ground, which knocked him away. And then I did some bad combo work on him, which led to a pretty messy end to the stage. And for some reason, I didn't do the combo right, and I ended up getting hit and knocked out of the way. But usually, you're not supposed to get hit in this stage. And that's my PB music. I technically PB'd by 0.1 second in that situation. I technically PB'd by 0.1 seconds in that situation. But yeah, category's just under a half hour. It's a neat little game. Haven't seen this Turtles game, even though we've seen a bunch of the other games at a GDQ before. Very heavily optimized. I'd like to thank Mrmanny620 for finding all these strats, because trust me, I haven't found anything. He's found pretty much everything in like the land of all these charge attacks, and the new route in Leo 1 where we go left instead of right after that little tower section, all thanks to him. But we're you know, this is a good game. It was a good game. So thanks for listening, and I hope I get accepted into GDQ this year. Thank you.